10 times the judges got physical. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the SCREENY. It's not always easy to keep composure after you're forced to sit through dozens of crappy auditions, so it's no wonder that X Factor judges snap every once in a while. Best case scenario, we get a funny clip of Simon and the gang laughing their asses off, but not all of the awful auditions end that way. Let's take a look at 10 times the judges got physical. Remember to press the subscribe button so you can catch up on more fun facts about your favorite movies and TV shows every day. Number 10. Water battle.
Like, don't you bring my husband, Louis! Don't you bring my husband in!
Water battles seem to be the harshest form of violence present in talent shows, and we witnessed a couple of them over the course of the last few years. Simon Cowell and Louis Walsh both found themselves on the receiving end of a drink throw while judging X Factor contestants alongside Sharon Osbourne. The quick-tempered TV personality lashed out on her fellow judges on several occasions, and Walsh even considered leaving the show after one heated argument between the two. Osbourne became hysterical after Walsh started criticizing one of her acts, and he jokingly asked her if she's on Ozzy's drugs. Once he brought her husband into the conversation, Sharon exploded and immediately took revenge. She grabbed the drink from her desk and slung it in the direction of his face. The incident occurred during season 2, and Walsh was thinking about leaving the show since it caused him nothing but stress. He eventually changed his mind after Cowell begged him to stay. Number 9. Leaving the stage. Simon Cowell is without a doubt the most critical judge out there, but every once in a while he shows us his soft side. That's exactly what he did when an apprentice jockey, Dawn Gerard, tried to impress the judges with her rendition of Madonna's hit song, Cherish. She hit a rough patch before even starting to sing, since Louis Walsh couldn't believe she's a jockey because he could never imagine her on a horse. His laughter was so contagious that Sharon Osbourne quickly joined in, but Simon wasn't having it. After dealing with their childish behavior episode after episode, he decided to scold them by asking them to leave the table and let the girls sing. The troublesome pair went backstage, and Sharon was so hysterical that she ended up slamming her head on the door as she walked into the next room. Once Dawn started singing, it became clear that Louis and Sharon weren't the ones preventing her from giving her best. Her voice just wasn't any good, and Simon told her to try again next year, a few seconds after sending Danny Minogue backstage since she started giggling as well. Number 8. Hot and heavy.
That came from, and this little shadoodle, but I was like, live, work, you're born to be on that stage. Shadoodle.
X Factor judges sometimes get a little bit too close to the singers they're coaching, and Nicole Scherzinger is a case in point. She developed such a strong relationship with Matt Terry that some of the viewers started wondering if they're secretly dating. They were often shown touching and hugging each other, and Matt even lifted up his mentor on a few different occasions, but that's not even the most passionate interaction between the two caught on camera. The former Pussycat Doll found a pretty unusual way to express her astonishment with Terry's rendition of the song I Heard It Through the Grapevine. She stood up and put her leg on the chair in a raunchy display, flashing her underwear and showing off her toned legs. When it was finally her turn to comment on Matt's performance, his mentor couldn't stop talking about how hot and charismatic he was. Simon had to use his notes as a fan to cool Nicole down because it was so obvious she was burning with desire. Number 7. Fast reflexes.
Debbie storms back in, but Louis sees what's coming.
Dealing with contestants who have anger issues is one of the hardest parts of being a judge, and it sometimes even leads to a physical confrontation. That's exactly what happened when Deborah Stevens failed to impress Louis Walsh with her rendition of If You Believe by Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. You could see that Debbie was already fuming after Simon and Sharon agreed that she had no charisma, but the Irish judge was the one who delivered the final blow when he told her she's not very good. Debbie Debbie was so furious that she told Louis she wants to slap him and even asked him to leave the room because he has no talent. The rest of the judges didn't feel like dealing with her behavior any longer, and Sharon escorted her out. Once they left the room, Debbie found a way to storm back in and tried to throw water at Louis. He immediately figured out what she wanted to do and chucked water at Debbie before she had a chance to do anything. They were both completely soaked by the time she finally left, but Cowell wasn't impressed by the whole thing, overstepped his boundaries. Number 6. Laughing fit.
Where over the rainbow.
Some X Factor auditions are so bad it's good, and that's the case with this disastrous rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow delivered by Penelope Gomez. As soon as she started singing, the judges couldn't help but laugh, but Penelope didn't react the way most people do. What makes her audition so fantastic is the fact that she didn't get angry or defensive, but simply started laughing along. Louis Walsh encouraged her to keep going, but that proved to be impossible since him and Sharon just couldn't hold it together. Even after they finally stopped laughing for a few seconds, Penelope's singing didn't get any better, and her unusual accent sent them into another laughing fit. To make the whole thing even more hilarious, Sharon and Louis both voted yes, while still trying to compose themselves. Penelope didn't have any idea what was going on, and neither did Simon Cowell. He was so confused by the whole thing that he decided to take a break and jokingly said he's going to resign because he couldn't deal with his fellow judges anymore. Number 5. Just Dance. You don't have to be a good singer to make the whole room dance, and that's exactly what gym instructor Beck Martin did during his X Factor audition. The only thing catchier than his original song Friday Night were his dance moves, and by the time that he was done, everyone was jumping and waving their hands to the beats of the music. Nicole was the first person to join in and even jumped up on the table and started dancing by the end of the act. Sharon and Louis were also up on their feet and pulled a couple of awkward moves, while Simon looked in bewilderment as mayhem broke loose and threw his notes in the air. Behind the scenes, host Diarmaid O'Leary encouraged the whole crew and waiting contestants to join in, and it turned out to be one of the most delightful auditions X Factor fans have ever seen. Number 4. Reduced to Tears.
Take care.
Yeah, have a nice flight, yeah?
You look like a crab going inside.
Factor judges sit through dozens of laugh-inducing acts, but Andre Batchelor gave them something they've never seen before. This aspiring singer promised a performance that comes once in a lifetime. He started his act by throwing confetti in the air, making it obvious he intends to keep that promise. The judges tried to keep themselves together and not burst into laughter while watching him bob around the stage, but it proved to be an impossible task, especially in Cheryl's case. Tears started rolling down her cheeks as she tried to contain herself and make it through Andre's reggae-inspired performance without throwing a laughing fit. Number 3. Collapsing in laughter.
Fabulous. You messed your pants.
Keeping it together is easier said than done, especially when you have to deal with performers who are a freaking spectacle. Dreadlocked X Factor wannabe Andrew Murhead was one of those performers, and his song choice was the reason why he caused laughter in the studio. He made a pretty unusual pick and tried to impress the judges with his rendition of Air Hostess by Busted. The only problem? The song contained several pretty ridiculous lines, including I messed my pants when we flew over France. Sharon Osbourne had a massive giggling fit and literally fell off her chair after hearing the lyrics. She jokingly voted yes and kept on snickering, and the rest of the judges quickly followed suit. Osbourne said she loves her job so much after watching Muirhead's hilarious act and kept on laughing so loudly that anyone within a 10-mile radius could hear her. Number 2. Telenovela Improv.
Ooh.
There's a lot of drama surrounding every episode of talent competition shows, but Samuel Prince tried to reach a new high during his American Idol audition. This contestant asked the judges to join him on stage and recreate a telenovela scene. Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, and Harry Connick Jr. had nowhere to run, so they agreed to follow his instructions. Samuel pretended to be J-Lo's extremely jealous lover who got furious seeing her around the other two men and called her a disgrace for associating with them. The experienced actress took her acting seriously and slapped the contestant in the face in the true soap opera fashion. The whole thing was obviously staged and no one was hurt in the process, but Samuel still had to impress the judges with his singing abilities after pulling off this little stint. Number 1. Crossing the line.
A lot of
Anyone who's ever watched America's Got Talent can tell Mel B and Simon Cowell aren't on the best of terms. But the two judges took things to a whole new level after Demian Atidje's final performance. His act fell apart when a technical mishap ruins the whole thing, prompting Mr. Nasty to press the red buzzer. While explaining his decision to eliminate the escape artist from the competition, Cowell compared his act to Mel B's wedding night, because there was a lot of anticipation, but not much promise or delivery. The former Spice Girl felt her fellow judge was out of line, and dumped a cup of water on him midway through the joke, before storming off stage. His comment was a low blow, since Mel B filed for divorce from her ex a few months ago, and even got a restraining order after accusing him of emotional and physical abuse. This wasn't the first time Mel B did something like this, but at least she made sure there was no ice in the glass this time around. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content, and don't forget to check out one of the other two videos on your screen.